Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this is one of those videos where I came across this story this morning and it hit me like a sledgehammer. I tell you guys, I usually wake up about 1 or 2. I say this every morning. I wake up about 1 or 2, start going through the stories. Once I find a story, I get up, I shower, shave, and everything. And when I find a story that really affects me, I'll be shaving or whatever. My hands are literally shaking this morning. It's not just anger; it's anxiety, disgust. There's so much I want to say. There's times when I'll find a story. After I wake up, I start looking through it, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to talk about this. Let me say this too, because this is a monetized channel. This is one of those stories where, man, I want to say what I really want to say in the title. There's pictures I'd really like to use in the thumbnail, but I'd really like to phrase the title and in the first 30 seconds say what I really want to say. But because this is a monetized channel, I have to be very careful in the title and the first 30 seconds of the video, and I'm way over 30 seconds now, so man, I'm going to get into this. Let me talk about the people first, the two people involved in this. One of these is a good person, Machine Gun Kelly, who is dating Megan Fox. He's a recovering addict. I'll have the links down below. I didn't know that about him this morning, and that just made this video all that much more important that I talk about this. The other person is Joe Exotic, Joe Tiger, Joe whatever. I have never been a fan of this guy. I get the feeling that what I see is an addict, is a person who is not sorry for anything, has no issues with the way he lived, and plans on living that way in the future. I don't see any redeeming qualities in this man. That's my honest opinion. I never liked him from the. I've told you guys this before. There's probably a lot of people that don't like me, but this is one of these guys I never liked from the beginning. So recently he posted, I believe this was on Instagram. I'll have the link right down below, and I'm going to use it on the thumbnail. He's in jail. And Machine Gun Kelly, recently, he had a lot of tats. He's a recovering addict, and to me, he's made a lot of progress. He's come a long way. I watched one of his movies the other day, and it was a really good movie. Sometimes rappers or musicians or what have you, famous people get into acting, and they're not really. But Machine Gun Kelly is good in this movie. I see somebody I like, somebody I can relate to. Okay, so recently he had all these tats all over him, all different tats, and the way this is in my own words, he wanted to kind of put his past aside and find more harmony in his life. I'm phrasing it in my own words. So he got this blackout tattoo. I'm going to use this on the thumbnail. Honestly, I like this tattoo. There's going to be a lot of people that don't like it. I believe it must have been pain. He already said it was painful. It's all black. It's just flat black down his arms and about down to his midriff, I guess you call it, his solar plexus. I think about, and it's got a cross here. It's got some bands down the arm, but it's jet black. And and for what he's trying, the way he explained it, I love it. He's putting his past behind him, finding harmony and focus. And I understand what he's saying. I get it. I've been clean and sober since October 23rd. October 23rd of 2006. 17 and a half years. I was a full-blown crack addict for over 2.5 decades. Cocaine, crack, meth. And I got cross-addicted to heroin, full-blown junkie. I drank. I woke up, a half pint of Jägermeister was my breakfast. Literally. I'm not every single morning just to calm my nerves. And I would go get my heroin. I'd go get my crack. This was every single day for decades. Okay? I've been clean and sober, completely clean and sober for 17 and a half years. I still have drug dreams right now. I just had one last night. I had this dream that there were dealers living in the downstairs of my home. And I went to my girlfriend's house, and there were dealers living in her home, and I had nowhere safe to go. And I felt like, I get this anxiety that I'm going to end up using or something like that. And I wake up, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God I've been clean and sober. It feels so good when I wake up. But if you ask anybody else, drug dreams are a big part of recovery. And after 17 and a half years, I still have them. Okay, so Joe Exotic. Now, he's gay. Let me say this, man. This has, what I'm talking about has nothing to do with sexuality. Nothing to do about being gay or straight. Absolutely zero. In other videos, I've talked about how I had same-sex experiences when I was younger. When I was like, I'd say a preteen or teen, yeah, young teen. I've talked about same-sex experiences back when I was using. Let me say this too. The amphetamines, like crack cocaine, and meth. If you're not familiar with drugs, these drugs affect the same part of your brain as sex, and they hyperstimulate your sexual drive. I remember taking a hit of crack, and I would, 1 minute I'd have my priorities. I'd be driving my car down the road. I'd pull over. I'd take a hit right after I buy, because I have to have that hit right away as soon as I bought it. I'd pull over on the side of the road, get my pipe, take a hit, and as soon as that breath, as I exhaled that, boom, man, I was another person. You ask me, I'm not exaggerating. My priorities just flipped, and I would go straight. I would turn the car around and go straight to an adult bookstore. Pornography, that was my thing. Okay, like I said, this isn't about tigers or animals or gay sex or straight sex or any kind. This is about Joe Exotic being a scumbag. Really, I hope I could say that. I probably just lost my monetization. Okay, so in this post, he says, let me quote here, a tiger and a bit of meth, and I can make MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, gay. Okay, some people might think this is funny, might think it's a joke. It's no joke. Believe me, it's no joke. Joe Exotic is an addict, and I wasn't sure if Machine Gun Kelly had used or not. I looked it up this morning. He's a recovering addict himself. So, for Joe Exotic to say this, it's no freaking joke to say from one addict to say to another addict, hey, if I give you a little bit of, maybe if I gave you a little bit of the substance you're addicted to, or any drug, that is no joke. When an addict to say that to another addict, recovering or not, that's not a joke. And believe me, he's serious. And I know this because I used to do this back when I was using. Like I said, there's a cross addiction, and I know what he's saying. There's people I knew back when I was using, friends of mine, guys I went to high school with, and they would use coke or crack cocaine, and they would end up turning into, they would do things that they wouldn't normally do. It would hyper-stimulate their sexual drive. I remember one of my friends just wanted me to put in adult movies we're using. So I put them in, and I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable watching, because my thing was using and getting porn. And I would sit in the middle of my room naked, and I'd have the magazine in front of me, and I'd rip the pages out, and I'd tack them up on the wall, and I'd be sitting there cross-legged, tacking up pictures. And, by this, I'm wide awake, 20 hours later, still sitting there sweating, shaking, and there's ripped out pictures of pornography all over the walls, tacked to the walls. That was my thing. That's how this drug reacted to me. So this is no freaking joke. This drug makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do. It fires up. I think it's called the amygdala, amygdala, the basolateral amygdala, and it affects. I'll have the link down below. This is no joke. Like I say, I used to. I would buy crack cocaine and I'd have it at the house, and I'd have women come over, and I would tempt them with the drug, knowing that it affects women too in this way. Not as much, in my opinion, not as much as guys. It fires up the sexual part of your brain, and people do things. That's why it's not just why you see people running around naked after they've used methamphetamine. That has to do with the body overheating too. But it makes a person do things that they normally wouldn't do. And here's my point too. Like I said, I'd use every day, and I'd end up at adult bookstores, you know. And I had this one friend that would use, and then I talked about this in another video, and he'd dress up like a woman. You know, we'd be sitting there using, I'd be looking through my magazines, my thing, smoking, and he'd come back down the stairs and he'd be wearing women's clothes and have women's makeup on, you know. And the messed up thing, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we wanted to go rescore, you know. So he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, and we run out. So he calls up his guy, and he wants me to drive at 2 or 3 in the morning and go sit on the side of a road in this town of ours while he's dressed up as a woman to go meet this dealer at 3 in the morning. And I said, dude, what happens when, you know, when a cop goes by and we're sitting on the side of the road, and when the cop comes up to the window and you're dressed like that, what am I gonna say? you know, that's a bad scenario. You know, I didn't end up doing it, thank God. This is no joke. This is the thing I worry about. I would never just all of a sudden get just have temptation. I've been clean and sober for 17.5 years. I've had my soulmate, my girlfriend, passed away from COVID 2 years ago. I lost my house. I was homeless 2.5 years ago. Those things happened at the same time. I didn't use. I'm past that at this point. The one thing that I do worry about, I have like a radar. You have to have a radar for people that say they're clean or seem innocent, and you let them close to you. This is my fear. And once they get close to you, they pull it out. Like if I started dating a woman, I thought she was clean. We went on a date. We go back to her place. The next thing I know, she starts, you know, we're messing around, and she pulls out some crack. You know, that right there is my biggest fear. I can't let myself get into that position, because I'm already at a point with the sex and in a room like that and in a situation like that, and I'm afraid that would push me over the edge. If I was ever to relapse, it would be because of somebody like Joe Exotic, and it has nothing to do with being gay or straight. It's getting an addict. It's using a recovering addict to get what you want from them, tempting them with drugs. This is no freaking joke to me. Joe Exotic is, I won't say it again, you know, he is the lowest of the low. And Machine Gun Kelly, God bless you, man. Stay clean and sober. Recovery is freaking possible. 17.5 years, since October 23rd of 2006, I've been clean and sober from heroin and crack cocaine. Recovery is possible. I'll say it again. Have a good Friday.